Thank you, everyone. Another episode of Your Day with David. And this week we have my sister, Deborah, Deb
Hi.
Sheets. And she is the first of the 8 siblings that I have with our mom. That
I'm
is,
the second.
well, I meant
Oh.
the first sibling I've had on the show. Let me finish my
Oh.
sentence. Thank you. I know the order you're in our family, Deb. Um, but yes,
Joey doesn't.
she is the second oldest, next to Robert, and then I'm right below her. And my siblings, all of them, very, very unique. All of them have their own different personalities. We could probably have some type of reality show, um, just with us, and this kind of is a little bit of a reality show, maybe. Um, but normally with the show, I bring a friend on. I talk a little bit about how we met. It's a little bit obvious how I met my sister. She technically probably remembers meeting me first. Maybe, I'm not sure how that works. Um, but a few of the conversations I want to talk about today is really just how we grew up in our whole household. How her experience might have been different than mine, but also when I say we had different personalities, uh, I felt like Debbie growing up was much more the black sheep of the family, which you could probably agree. Um, Whereas I was maybe kind of the goody goody two shoes kind of kid, or I tried to be like the perfect child kind of thing uh, for our parents. And so, I kind of want to start there, which was, I don't know, was there like a how or a why, or you know and maybe before we get into that, if you haven't already, guys, please subscribe or like the video below. But Debbie, why were you so different? Why were you the type of person that, so maybe I'll start. We grew up pretty religious, pretty straight laced. um the classic family that had a list of chores to do, bedtime at this time. um I don't know, just kind of the classic suburban family that moved to the middle of the country, I guess. But you were, I maybe to describe you, you were always partying, maybe growing up in high school, and you always had kind of an abrasive personality, quite honestly. And quite frankly, to anyone listening, I don't think we really got along. Uh, I think that
Me
there's a lot of
either.
siblings like that too. And I say, we didn't get along, but obviously we do anything for each other. That didn't change. We still loved each other, but holy shit, you would get on my nerves.
Oh, you got on my nerves.
Yeah, it went both ways.
Trying to play RuneScape, man. You're taking up the internet.
I'm no, that's the thing is, okay, so for the people listening, we had like 2 computers, and it was obviously there was 8 children. So we tried to divide the nerdy computer time between all of us. So we were allotted like 30 minutes at a time, and Debbie would like to play for 2 hours in a row. And she'd anyway. I'm like reliving old bad memories here. Um, But was there like a reason or a trigger? Or like, why was it the fact that um you maybe weren't as, I don't even know how to describe it. You were just a black sheep,
uh, I don't think there was reason. That's just how I was.
rebellious by
I
nature.
just liked having fun. So
Yeah. Well, I think Robert. So Robert, would always like spend time talking to mom and dad late at night, like literally every single day. I was always in sports as well, and for a little while, you played softball too, growing up. Um, Volleyball too. Did you play volleyball
yeah,
much? A little bit.
I did pretty much everything except my senior year. I think I only did softball and tennis.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Tennis. I knew, and tennis was probably your favorite sport. Is that right? Would you say? No.
I mean, tennis was probably the one I was better at. softball was fun, but yeah, slow pitch is better.
Mm. Well, I a lot of times when I meet new people and I'm describing our family to them, and if I ever say, "Oh, I've got this sister Debbie too," and um, one of the things that I always like bringing up is like the first time that you got a tattoo, right?
Oh, dude.
And how like the tattoo was such a big no in our family, and even now, like I finally got my first one after being 26 years of age, almost 27 here in a week or so. And uh I just remember when when mom saw it, she was like inconsolable, like crying
Oh,
in
dude,
bed
she was
for like
crying.
weeks.
Lola called me crying, telling me I have to get rid of it. I'm like, yeah, I can't. Nothing I can do about it. Sorry, Lola.
And what was your first tattoo again? I knew it was on the hip, or the side, and had the dog tags. Yeah,
Yeah, just with the dog tags.
just the dog tags.
Pretty much, yeah.
Now, you think about how like Robert, went to Iowa State University, and then you kind of went a different route. The reason why you even got dog tags as your first tattoo was you chose to be more. You went into the army. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it, and interestingly enough, eventually you ended up going to Iowa State University anyway, just like most of the Sheets clan. Uh, but I guess why the army first? Was there a reason, like truthfully, or
Like, do you mean like the army, as in picking that one instead of other branches, or just the military as a whole?
military as a whole,
Oh, I just thought it'd be pretty sweet.
as opposed to? So it wasn't more like, so for instance, I think there's some people that go into college but they don't have an idea of what they want to be and things like that. They rack up all this debt and then they end up switching majors anyway. So like in your case, you wanted to be in the army or military anyway, and kind of just said, well, I don't really want to do more school. Is that right?
I mean, the school I didn't care for a whole lot, but I mean, the military was, I mean, it was just something fun. Well, I
Something
thought it would
fun.
be fun. I was like, oh yeah, play with tanks, and my stuff was being a medic, so we got to play with patients all the time, drag people around. I mean, it was pretty fun, cool stuff.
And it ended up being as fun as you thought it'd be. Yeah.
It had ups and downs, a lot of
More ups,
downs.
more ups than downs, or was it pretty balanced?
I mean, the people were great. The organization was not.
Mm. U.S. military, and you went Army, right? Now, were you're technically reserves? Is that how you're classified, or
Guard.
the Guard? Okay,
Yep. Reserves is like the federal side of it, but the Guard is state and federal.
okay. And correct me if I'm wrong here. I mean, you were in the Army since you were at least like right at 18. Yeah, 17 even. No, how
I
young?
think 18.
18.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until 2021 when your
Yeah, I got
contract.
out. I got out at 2020, right after
2020.
in the middle of COVID.
Now there's a kind of like a clause or like something though where in times of war, like how we're in now, where for like a 2-year window or something like that, you can get called back. Is that right?
Yeah, it's IRR status, and the joke is always like, oh yeah, he'll never get called back. Like it would literally have to be like World War III.
And here we are. Here
So
we are.
I just got to make it till the end of the year. But I guess if World War III happens, might as well go, because what else would I be doing?
And
So
yeah, now you went military for to start out, but then eventually made a decision to go back to school at Iowa State. Why did you want to go back? Why didn't you just stay full-time military? Because that can be a thing, yeah, or no?
Well, so I mean, it wasn't really full time. It was guard, so we had drill weekends.
Okay.
So like, it was primarily 3 days a month, 2 to 3 weeks in the summer, that sort of thing. And then if we get assigned to whatever miscellaneous stations, that can be whatever duration the contract is. It really varies a lot for everyone, especially medics. Like medics just kind of get thrown around
Yeah.
because you only need so many medics for a mission, but you always need a medic. So college was, well, it's paid for mostly,
Hmm.
90% paid for. I had to come up with like $700
Hmm.
roughly to actually pay out my U bill. But if it wasn't paid for, I probably wouldn't have gone.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the big benefits of why a lot of people do go, military is the free education, if you
Free.
will.
My back is effed, but it was free.
And then what was it's funny because you and I ended up graduating at the same time, if I remember that correctly.
I think you beat me by a semester.
Did I beat you by a semester? Okay.
Yeah, because I
Yeah,
started
you're right.
late.
Yeah, I do think you're right because I don't think you and I were wearing gowns at the same time. And then what did you
Nope.
end up getting your degree in again?
Science, kinesiology.
Kinesiology, science. I got my degree in science.
Well,
Yeah,
the degree is a bachelor's in science,
right, right,
but
right.
the topic is kinesiology.
Hmm. And then took that into being a business owner. Yeah, starting up your own gym. And, it's interesting because I think about how me and, um, even Robert, Arya, and Steven kind of went maybe a more traditional route of, after education, you work for somebody else, right? And then you had decided, well, Robert's a little bit different. He went on to had a little hiatus after school, and then now he
Hmm.
is working. But um, and I think most people, when they get the kinesiology degree, or maybe you could tell me, in your case, you ended up starting up your own gym, becoming, a personal trainer, and then working with clients in your own gym. Is that the typical route that people would go with the kinesiology major, or what would they choose to do?
So, okay, so kinesiology is very, very
Broad.
broad. So, like kinesiology, people that fall under there, your pre-health majors, your chiropractic major people, exercise science. Though I did exercise science, which is a really niche portion of it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not a very large department. But then you have like your physical education people, public health. So I mean, for the people who do go to exercise science, they don't necessarily tend to start their own businesses, but they do kind of manage themselves. So they can go into like cardiac rehab, um, like medical exercise clinics, that sort of thing. Or they can start their own thing, or they can just work at a traditional fitness center
Mm-hmm.
doing training stuff there. But getting a bachelor's in kinesiology isn't doesn't necessarily make you a qualified trainer though. You still have to actually go
Mm-hmm.
through a separate course to get certified.
Yeah, either ACE or NASM. Both of those
Yeah, those are
are the
those are the most common ones.
yeah. Okay. And then you are a business owner, and then kind of walk me through to running your own gym, and then COVID hits. Or I guess how long did you have the gym starting before the pandemic?
Uh Year and a half. Opened
Mm-hmm.
in April 2018. April. About 2 years, just under 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, kind of when things were finally like getting some good traction. The pandemic hit, and then a lot of shit hit the fan. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we lost over half just overnight. Like you, I mean, you plan for normal turnover with personal training, and because people
Mm-hmm.
will go through their programs, they'll finish it or they'll continue on or just build it into their lifestyle. But like there's normal turnover with training.
Mm-hmm.
You're expecting it, but just don't expect to lose it all at once. So,
Yeah. And that's, that's kind of the goal too, right? After you help someone enough, you ideally, you got your little caterpillar and they turn into a butterfly and they learn to like do fitness on their own. Yeah. Once they achieve some of the goals that they've set with you, or they can continue to work with you, obviously, if they like you. But personal training initially starts out for people that really have no idea what they're doing. Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah. But then it wasn't just like COVID hit, you lose half your people. You also lost like your gym location. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Our landlord decided it was cheaper to kick us out so they could use their PPP funding. And if they didn't kick us out and remodel the space, they wouldn't have had time to use their free PPP funds that would be forgiven. So not sure how that's legal, but yeah, that was stressful.
And we don't need to share details on that, but did any of that end up like, getting settled, if you know what I mean? Or was it still in the works, or what happened?
I got some money back and
Hmm.
it worked out. The new location that I'm at has been really good. And they've been more than willing to work with me. So
Pretty accommodating, the new location.
yeah, definitely. And we were able to build that location out exactly how we wanted it, since they had another tenant move in and we split the space up, did the construction for our side of it, and so basically we were able to get a custom build out of it by the end of it. So,
Hmm.
and it's a little
So,
bit bigger.
is it uh, just you then, or you have two personal trainers in that gym, or because did you end up employing more people? How did that work?
Yeah, so I got me. So I do a lot of the like medical fitness stuff. Zach Zach is the other main trainer. He went to Iowa State for dietetics and exercise. So he still trains, but he also fills in for our nutritional counseling. We have another one, Brenda. She works at Mary Greeley doing their fitness stuff, but she also works at City Hall training too. So she kind of does kind of her Fridays, that sort of thing, part time. Um, and then we just picked up two new trainers that actually have their orientation this week. One of them has like an online training presence, so we'd like to
Hmm.
kind of tap into that community driven stuff. He does a lot of powerlifting, program design, and actually scheduling team event stuff. So I'm gonna basically put him on as our event person. So if there's any sort of sporting event, he can organize that and head it. Just because he just really seems to like bringing people together. Um,
Sure. Let me pause you there. Is one of the dogs with you?
no,
I hear like this high pitched like whine, and I
it
don't
might
know
be
if
a
it's like a
bird.
bird or something, but it just okay. That's fine. I was just curious. My
Oh
sister,
yeah,
for those that are not watching and they're more just listening on wherever you get your podcast, she's outside soaking up the sun, which is nice, and it's hot out. It is hot, hot, hot out.
it
But
finally cooled down here. It's like I don't know, 75 right now. It cooled down.
I know it is still, in fact, 90 degrees here in St. Louis. It was 99 earlier today, so just miserable, miserable outside. Um, and then, um, I always considered you too as a more, and I'm not sure like how it came about. I think the military gave you a certain set of skills, as Liam Neeson would say. But I always found you were pretty resourceful as well, as far as even construction and stuff like that goes. Lonnie does does that as well. But um, you also have your own construction business now too, right? If I'm not mistaken, or
Yeah,
more odd jobs kind of business. Is it construction? What would you?
it's tech. I guess technically it's construction. It's pretty broad, general contracting. So it
Mhm,
really just it started off mostly landscaping stuff. I mean that had the least amount of overhead, but kind of
mhm.
slowly started picking up different sorts of stuff. I think the thing I do the most now is deck refinishing and uh, cabinet cabinet painting. Those are probably my top two profit makers.
Okay. And how do you juggle the gym and then your other business? Both of them are relatively demanding in their own right, I would say. Have you found a healthy balance, or how does that still play out for you?
I usually just train in the mornings, so I'll train Monday through Friday from like 7 a.m. to like 1 p.m. and then that gives me
Mm,
kind of the whole afternoon to do whatever stuff I whatever stuff I have on the books for the construction stuff. The stuff like with decks and all that prep work only lasts like 4 hours or less. And I usually have a couple people helping me. So I don't really need a full day unless I'm actually at the final stages after the prep work and actually stating something. That's when I actually need like a long duration of time. But for the most part, like um, it's not really the sort of work I'd want to do 8 hours a day either. It's just really hard on your body. Uh, so only doing it for like a half day works out pretty well for me.
sweet. So I do want to circle back a little bit. I know that I kind of wanted to talk kind of where you and I started small town life, and then you and I had much different paths as we grew up. Me being in the finance world, you ended up going military, then back to school, now running two businesses of your own. Uh, but when we go back to growing up in that small town, and you and I being so different, I think one of the things that was unique about our experience for you and me was you and I were very sociable uh, in the surrounding area, if you will. And you actually moved out. Um, you moved out. How old were you when you decided to rent out our parents that small place where we had first moved when we came to Iowa?
I was probably 19, maybe.
I don't think so, because we had my 16th birthday party,
Maybe I was 18. I must have been 18.
maybe even
Couldn't have been younger.
17.
Couldn't have been younger than 18 legally. So
Well,
I don't think you can sign a lease if you're under 18.
oh, I don't know the rules behind it, but um, I do remember we threw, or I say we, you threw many a party at that location. And I remember, well, first I should say this. You had the option, obviously, of because you didn't go to school right away. You were working around in the small town next door, if you will, kind of just locally while you were in the military too. You had the option to live at our parents' place with all of us other kids, but you chose to move out. Why?
Well, I mean, it's really hard to have a party at your parents' house.
Yeah, but we did it. Lonnie did it. We'd have the pond,
Yeah, we did.
right? Was it anything more than that? Just was it you wanted freedom? Was there?
I just like privacy. Privacy is good.
Privacy. Hmm. It's a much more simpler answer than I was expecting from you. Truthfully, I didn't know if it was like you didn't you didn't like being under our parents' thumb, in that
I don't
house.
think
'Cause
I don't think anyone likes being under their thumb,
that's true.
especially you.
Me, I yeah, I haven't had the best of experiences going post college back there for a little bit, but yeah, I think you're right. The reason why I asked is because for me, like what it meant to move out was that kind of that autonomy, that freedom. Not, and maybe you're right. Maybe the privacy was something new because we grow up, or one of 8 siblings. You could hardly breathe without one of your siblings asking you what you're doing. Um, as close as we are, we also got in just as many fights as siblings do too. Uh, which kind of exhausting because you think, well, eventually you grow up and then you guys grow out of it as you're getting to high school or whatever. But we had so many siblings that there's just constantly fights as we're watching all of us grow up. um yeah, I think about how often Steven and Sarah would get in fights together. I mean, it was probably like every single day for like 4 years in a row they would just have some kind
Pretty
of.
bad.
Yeah, it was really awful. And I've admitted to Sarah, I admit to myself, I was not, in my opinion, a very good big brother growing up and then into high school.
Oh yeah,
And
dude, we
then,
were honestly pretty awful to her. I feel bad about that.
yeah, I've apologized, and I'm not sure where it came from. Well, I mean, I have some ideas as to why I had like certain anger issues and things like that, whether it was like undiagnosed concussions from football or just the way um, kind of raised not to take any shit from anyone kind of thing. But um, moving out and getting, going to Iowa State, even then I didn't necessarily have the privacy because you're in the dorms, right? You have your dorm mate and then everyone else on the dorm floor. Then sophomore year, I moved in with all my college friends. I was one of 5 roommates my sophomore year of college. Um, and then junior and senior year, I was one of 4 roommates. So I never really had uh, my own space, my own. I had autonomy, right? I could go do my own things and whatnot. But then I ended up finally getting my own place in here in St. Louis, and it was kind of just like this big breath of fresh air, right? Not knowing anybody, not having any family or friends by me, bought my first car. It was my own first place just by myself. And you had experienced it at a much younger age, right? Moving into that smaller home. So that's why I ask, how that experience was for you versus for me, because truly, moving to St. Louis like changed my life, right?
Yeah, I need
But
privacy, so
it's
need it.
just that simple, just that simple.
Yep.
And then, kind of the funny thing too is you were always again I would say you had an abrasive personality growing up, and you might not think that, you might not agree, um, but maybe that's just how it was as siblings. um, but being the black sheep versus all of us kids that were kind of like the goody goody two shoes, I felt I kind of want to bring up the fact that, hey, you're getting married in a month.
Yep. Yep.
one
Sure
one
am.
month, and if I had put a bet of every last dollar I had to my name on the first sibling out of all of us kids that would get married, you would have been dead
Last.
last. Dead last. Which I think is a wonderful thing, right? You met Nick, you found Nick, and then you guys are going through with all of this. And
We both like
yeah,
privacy.
you both like privacy.
Yeah.
I remember though, I was in the wedding when it first got happened. And I got kicked out of the wedding party, which is perfectly fine. I'm not salty
This is
about
too
it.
much to manage. I'm like, oh, this is just too much to try to coordinate.
Too many people.
So,
Did you guys end up doing like a bachelor party thing, or?
not this weekend because this weekend is the reunion, but next weekend we're just doing like a bachelorette, really just close friends and probably more friends really, just like a camping trip. Um,
Hmm.
Pretty simple, nothing too crazy. Rent out a pontoon.
Okay. Nice. And I know the story, but could you give me some background again? How did you meet Nick?
I trained his mom for
Hmm.
a couple years before meeting him. Um, didn't meet him until I was selling some stuff on Facebook Marketplace, and it was like
Mm.
a cheap little 10 by 10 Jim Beam sign that I was like just cleaning house. I'm like, I don't even know why I have this, so put it up on the marketplace. One of his friends saw it, and then he saw it, and he's like, oh yeah, she trains my mom, and so he came over to pick it up, and I don't even really know how it happened, but then we just ended up going out to the bar that night. I don't really know how that those things happen. It just happened. And
And
yeah.
it wasn't just his mom that you trained, you also trained his sister too, yeah?
Yeah.
And were they both before you met him? Is that right?
Yeah.
Because I thought, and again, my memory probably doesn't serve me correctly, because I didn't remember the Jim Bean sign, but I thought you were out at um oh gosh, I can't even remember what it was called. Corner Pocket? Is that the one? What was the pool? The
Corner
pool,
pocket.
it is Corner Pocket. Was that the bar you guys went to, or
No, we went to Sporties,
Sporties?
which is like the crappiest bar you could go to. It's like
Yeah.
really crappy dive bar.
Well, I think I got my love of dive bars from you. Like, because
They're
I
amazing. You never wait for a drink. It's perfect. There's
oh
only
you
one pool table and one person using it. Perfect.
well, I just felt like, obviously in college, everyone goes to Welch Avenue, at least at Iowa State, and it's the same bars, the same thing, same people. But the cool thing about dive bars, or really, that Main Street in general, there was that anybody, any type of person could be inside of a dive bar. And it's always a different, for me, it's like always a different person. And I never went. And the only time I would ever go to these dive bars was when I was hanging out with you. Right. So it was always a
Hmm.
really fun experience for me. And then now in St. Louis, like some of my favorite places to go are these really divey hole in the wall places that, only a select few people know about, but those are some of our favorite places to go. Um,
What was that one place that Double D's karaoke?
that's right. Double D's karaoke. It closed down.
No, COVID.
Yeah. COVID killed it, and it never reopened. Which is
Yep.
a shame. I'm not even sure if there's anything in that location anymore. I There were like rumors they were going to bring it back, but at a different place. But I don't think anything ever came of that. So, yeah, the karaoke location as to where we go, me and my friends, is changed since then.
Ew.
But yeah, that was interesting. I remember getting well. You were encouraging this mom.
Several
Uh,
moms.
I can't remember what the term was, but she was like an ear doctor or something like that. And they were
Oh
in town
yeah.
for a conference. And um, yeah, just for the people listening, essentially, my sister was trying to set me up with this like 45-year-old woman.
She was pretty
Uh,
hot though.
no, she wasn't. No, 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 she wasn't.
No, she wasn't.
But her friend was also very messed up and stumbling and bumbling through the bar at bar close. But it was a very, very good time.
Yep.
And that was just because I don't even remember why you just wanted to come visit me in St. Louis. Yeah, that's what that weekend was. You needed to get out of Iowa for a little bit.
Yeah, I think we had it kind of planned for a little bit, sorta, and I had some time. Had some free. I think it would have been right when me and Nick started dating. I think.
So I moved to St. Louis near the middle of 2018. So it's been 4 years now. In fact, May would have been the 4 year kind of like anniversary of me coming to St. Louis. How long have you and Nick been together now?
Um,
Oh, come on. You got to know this.
since October 2019.
Okay.
October
Yeah.
2019.
So I'd been there a little over a year already at that point.
Yeah,
Or no. Yes.
you've been
Yeah,
there a while.
a little over a year. And that way, I knew some of the places to go to, and I kind of established myself there already. Um, and then so now you were dating there for what, a couple of years then, and then he decided to you guys went on a trip to Colorado Springs. Ironically enough, the same weekend that I was also making a trip to Boulder as well for a wedding. Uh, and on that trip, you guys went to the Garden of the Gods. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's where we stayed at there's a campground there.
Okay. And was it in that actual hike at the Garden of the Gods where he ended up proposing to you? Is that right?
It wasn't there. It was at a reservoir, like a fishing reservoir, but it wasn't very populated. It was very I think we might have seen two other people
Oh wow.
the whole day.
Okay.
I can't remember what park it was though, but I feel like I should
I
probably
felt
know that.
like my reaction to seeing you engaged was very mellow because you came up uh to hike with me and my ex at the time at I wish I could remember.
It was that falls, something falls. Uh
Yeah, I have no idea.
Canyon? I don't know.
But anyway, we did a hike, right? And then you show up, you show me the ring on your finger, and I literally think I was just like, wow, congratulations. Like that
That
was
was
it. It
it.
literally, like, I don't know why. Like when I look back, I'm like, wow, this is such like a big moment, like for you, like the first of us eight siblings to get engaged, and we're on this like beautiful mountainscape and all this stuff. You show me this ring, I'm like, wow, congrats. That's cool. That's cool, sis. And like even like, and I looked at Nick, I was like, cool, man. Like I hardly knew Nick at all. Like I've met him once, maybe twice at this point.
Yeah.
And even now, I can still count on my hand the number of times I've met Nick, just because I live so far.
Hmm.
Um, I see him on holidays, and that's pretty much it. And um, the I guess has it sunk in for you, like the idea that you are going to get married in a month, or what's been going through your brain?
I hate organizing all of it. Still need to write like my vows and pick out wedding songs and stuff, which I don't really think I have to do. I don't think that matters. Uh, but
Are
I think
you doing most of the planning, or is Nick helping out? What's
Nick's mom is doing like most of it
okay?
because we're not good at it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird thinking I'll not have my last name. No more sheets.
He's a what, Turner, something like that.
Yep. Mhm.
Deborah Turner,
I know it feels weird.
Deb Turner,
Deb Turner.
Debbie.
Debbie.
Hmm. Okay. And pretty close now with Nick's family too. Yeah, you'd say at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just for the people listening, or even myself, because I don't even know if I've RSVP'd personally, but hopefully I have a table for myself, or a spot for the sheets people.
Yep.
Um, did you end up deciding like to go like a big wedding? Is it going to be a small wedding? What's the venue?
Um, So we rented out. It's like a community building in Nevada, and we wanted it to be kind of small, but I guess it depends what people call small because apparently that ranges. I think we have like 130-ish people on our guest list, which
Mm,
isn't like a ton. I think we originally started at like 70, but then you start adding in people's plus ones and extended families, and it's like, oh, okay, it's going to be a little bit bigger than maybe I anticipated, but that's not a huge deal. So,
mhm. And um, oh yeah, there we go. I was just the whole time thinking like, ooh, I wonder what's on the menu as well. Like that, when
uh,
you're
I
so
think
Nick's
we're doing
mom,
like barbecue and stuff like that.
yeah. So like when Nick's mom is the one who's like organizing all this, is she doing like all the catering, flowers? Did she pick the venue? Did you guys?
She picked the venue. I handled the catering and the DJ. Um,
Who's the DJ?
uh, crown. Someone I did work for. I
Hmm.
think I did like some of their landscaping stuff, and they just happened to have a DJ business, so that worked out pretty easy.
Now you and correct me if I'm wrong, or don't even correct me actually. You had been in many a relationship before Nick came around. I guess, why was he different? Why is Nick, as you two say, the love of my life?
Love of my life.
Why, what's special about Nick, right? You think about some of the other people you've been with, or maybe you could even talk about some other previous relationships and how they didn't work out. Yeah.
Um, well, that's
I'm
a great
asking you what you
question.
like about Nick, Deb, and there's
There's
nothing
just
coming
so many things. I'm trying to
up.
figure out the ones I
Oh,
like the most.
yeah.
Um, well,
My
he's
wife.
he's well, he's very thoughtful,
No.
and he's not dumb. Like I don't know, some people just the older I get, the more I think people are not very smart.
You're right.
And it's like, man, you're so I mean, he's got a good head on his shoulders, and I don't I'm trying to even think about why we even went on that first date. I don't know if
Mhm.
or how it went from like, yeah, I'm going to sell you this $5 tin piece of Jim Beam sign to let's go out to this dive bar.
Mhm.
But
Do you think he would remember it better than you?
um no. I think well, he came and his friends actually drove him to I was at Lonnie's place. I was helping Lon clean up his place and work on his house, and I had just had it with me. And his friends actually had to drive him there because they'd been drinking all day, so he couldn't actually drive. So um, I don't know. Maybe he was just super friendly because he was tipsy. I don't know,
Okay.
but
Was there something like anything in particular where you're like attracted you to Nick? You're like, oh, I'd see this guy again.
um,
His mom pays me.
he had, uh, I don't know. He was just really nice. He was super easy to talk to, and we just got along pretty well. We had a lot of
Mhm.
similar interests. We like doing construction stuff, and yeah, just good conversations overall.
So for the people watching and listening, my sister and I hardly ever have like these kind of conversations. So I'm trying to like bait her into like
I'm definitely baited.
pouring her heart out, and because we don't do that. I feel like us growing up, like even our relationships were like taboo to talk about. Like we didn't talk about who we dated, we didn't talk about what we did with them or anything like that. And it's just like I'm not sure why that was. Um,
I don't either.
One thing I do, and um, one thing I always really liked about you, Deb, was you always seemed you had such a strong personality. Again, gave off kind of like a, I don't know what you want to call it, just like maybe like a just a I don't know. You're just domineering personality. Uh, you're more rough around the edges is kind of what I wanted to say. But then for things like prom and like anytime that there was an excuse where you had to like get your hair done or do your
I hated it.
makeup, you say you hated it, but I felt like, or like going shopping, I felt like you actually loved that. Or maybe as you got older, like for instance, when you go shopping with Aria or just shopping on your own and you're like, ooh, this would be great for Aria, something like that. I'm like,
Do you know what my shopping is? It's me going to Duluth and finding a new pair of pants with lots of pockets, or
nice.
going to Home Depot and finding a cool new tool. That's shopping for me.
Well, I
But I
always
did.
thought,
I think when I go like with Aria though, it's fun because Aria obviously hasn't had anyone to really take her on those things. So I think for me, I feel good, like just being able to
just big sister stuff.
be a part of um, her trying new stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even like when we had to get her bridesmaid's dress, and she had her appointment with the uh, alteration appointment for her dress. Like it's just stuff like I don't think she would do it if someone wasn't there with her.
Hmm.
Um, but I know she wants to do it. So, I mean, I don't care much for uh, dresses and stuff. I actually think I like wearing a suit more because then I feel more professional.
Yeah.
But
I still remember
yeah,
giving you a tie for I think it was a career fair or something like that at Iowa
yeah.
State.
I was like, ah, yes, looking fresh.
Well, it surprised me because I felt like, and maybe it just didn't stick with you as much. But I felt like anytime where you were in a situation where you actually did have to put makeup on, you ended up being much more um, stereotypical. What we would call like girly. Like I don't know. And I was kind of I can't wait to. Basically, what I'm trying to lead to is like I can't wait to see you at your wedding. All this
Oh,
makeup, your hair
I'm
done,
not going to be wearing a ton of makeup. In fact, I don't
all
even
the
think I will
makeup,
be wearing makeup.
all the makeup.
Nick's mom keeps trying to like, you're gonna wear makeup, right? And we're gonna get your hair done. I'm like, what are you gonna do my hair? Like, there's one style, and it's this. Like,
I'm sure. I mean,
and
there's
there's other
plenty.
stuff you could do, but it's just so easy.
Yeah, but our wedding's supposed to be easy.
No,
It's
but I want it to be.
you want it to be, sure, but remember, the wedding's not about you, Debbie. It's about everyone else.
No,
I'm
it's
just
about
kidding.
me. It's all
No,
about me, Bridezilla.
it's you know I was talking to someone else about today, just about they asked me uh, the type of bride you think you're going to be, if you're going to be like a bridezilla or like who is planning everything, if you're going to like be stressed out about everything. Because last thing I knew was like you said, Nick wasn't too involved with the whole planning thing, and as far as like you weren't either. And so I was like curious like where we were, because it happens in a freaking month, like and it's funny because that was back in, what was it, October you got engaged? Was that when we were in Colorado?
No, it was in the
August.
summer. I think August.
It was August.
August.
So almost a year has flown by. Very, I'm not sure if it felt quick for you, but the fact that that was almost a year ago kind of like blows my mind a little bit.
It was very quick.
Yeah. Well, uh, this is kind of me wishing you, and I'll see you soon, of course. But I'm giving you the younger brother blessing
Oh, thanks, man.
for your wedding, and obviously, I'll take any excuse to dress up myself because I'm also like you, or dressing in a
See,
suit.
I like
Nice.
wearing like a nice suit and stuff. I mean, not like a full blown tux or anything, but like a nice blazer, nice pants. But
Well, maybe for your
I don't like wearing
wedding,
dresses.
yeah, maybe for what your wedding, you can go in a suit, and Nick will wear the dress.
I doubt it.
Yeah, or maybe the reception.
I'm changing as soon as that ceremony's over.
Well, um, I just kind of, and I'm going to have kind of, it'll be fun because I'm going to kind of have like a side series of just all the siblings and kind of like their experiences growing up because, I think some of the siblings had different experiences, um, growing up in that small town. And then, obviously growing up and changing as we got older and then into college and then now into the professional world. And so I wanted you to kind of be the first. I'm not sure if I was supposed to start with Robert. I'm really not sure if Robert would have even want to do this kind of thing. Um, but yeah, I felt between you and Lonnie were there's some siblings that are closer than others. And I kind of wanted to, as we get closer to your wedding, I was like, okay, I want to get some get some Debbie time before she's too busy to talk to me for a little while. So that is all we have time for today. And again, today there wasn't anything life changing, no advice. I really just wanted the people listening and watching to kind of meet my sister and how she grew up and changed. And for those listening and watching, please wish her do you say what, a happy wedding, a congratulations? How you don't say like
I don't
Merry
know.
Christmas, but best of luck at the wedding. And normally this is the point where I say, if you need a friend, you can come in mine. But you know, for the people listening, if you need family, you can come meet mine. And thank you all for tuning in. If you have not yet, please subscribe, like the video, and then we'll see you all next Saturday. Thank you guys.